everybody, it's Emily from ARG Schooling, and today I'm going to bring you my January book haul. I might have bought too many books this month, but it's okay. I'm justifying it because the grand majority I bought while I'm working on grade 10. So there are 4 grade 10. So I can justify myself spending so much that way. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to start with the books that I bought not for grade 10, just because I wanted them. And the first book I bought is Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, number 1, The Bad Beginning. I've never read these. My oldest, when she was about 8 or 9, picked one up from the library to read, and she hated it. And I never bought them. We just didn't get into that whole thing back then. But her complaint was it was just too depressing, and she just didn't want to read depressing stories. So I saw the new series coming out on Netflix, and I was like, we never really read these. So I kind of wanted to do that. So I bought the first book, hoping to get to this really soon because I kind of want to see the new series. And I have this rule in my head that I can't until I've read the book. Next up is the book we're going to be reading for the Read Like a Mom book club in February, and that is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I've heard so many good things about this author and this book in particular, and I'm really excited about it. This is a science fiction, historical fiction mashup, kind of, because it's about a woman, a black woman who gets transported through time travel to the antebellum South, and I don't think it's something she can control, and she keeps ending up back there for longer and longer periods of time, and I just think it sounds really fascinating. I love historical fiction. I'm really into sci-fi, so I found that just so intriguing. I wanted to know more. So this also is going to work towards my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge for a book that takes place in 2 time periods. I also bought a couple of books just based on the political climate at the moment. So I purchased, of course, 1984 by George Orwell because I was shocked when I looked at my shelves and couldn't find it. I'm like, do I really not own it? So now I own a copy, and I'm going to be doing a unit study with my teens. We're going to read and discuss, and I don't know what else is going to come of it, but we're going to be studying 1984. And to kind of go along with that, I also bought Brave New World by Aldous Huxley because I've never read it, and I feel like I probably should. It's one of those books that everyone mentions as you must read this at least once before you die kind of a book, and I think it kind of goes along the same lines as 1984, but I'm not really sure. I know it's a dystopian kind of something, so I'm going to be reading those 2. I also bought Carl Sagan's The Demon Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark, because I've heard this come up quite frequently, and science is important. I love the quote. I think it's attributed to Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I don't know if he actually said it or not, that the great thing about science is it's true whether you believe it or not. And so I wanted to read this. I've never read anything by Carl Sagan, but I've heard lots of good things about this book in particular. I'm just going to read you the back of the book to give you a gist, because I don't know how to sum it up. But it says, how can we make intelligent decisions about our increasingly technology-driven lives if we don't understand the difference between the myths of pseudoscience, New Age thinking, and fundamentalist zealotry, and the testable hypotheses of science? Casting a wide net through history and culture, Sagan examines and authoritatively debunks such celebrated fallacies as witchcraft, faith healings, demons, and UFOs. And yet, disturbingly, in today's so-called information age, pseudoscience is burgeoning with stories of alien abduction, channeling past lives, and communal hallucinations commanding growing attention and respect. As Sagan demonstrates with lucid eloquence, the siren song of unreason is not just a cultural wrong turn, but a dangerous plunge into darkness that threatens our most basic freedoms. Tell me that doesn't sound like a book everyone should be reading right now. Also, I was at Barnes & Noble a few weeks ago, and I had a gift card, so I bought some books. I bought Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman because I want to read more Neil Gaiman, and because I read American Gods past year and I loved it, and this is the sort of sequel. I guess I don't think it's a sequel per se, but it kind of carries over some of the same characters, so I want to read that. And I also picked up Kill the Next One by Federico Axat, and this is a thriller about a man who has terminal brain cancer and he plans to kill himself when he's propositioned by this person who says, how about instead you join this little chain where you kill 2 people, random people, on this list. We're going to give you a list with these names on it, and you kill these 2 people, and then someone will kill you. And it kind of makes him feel better about offing himself, because now he doesn't have to put that stigma on his family. But then things happen. So it just, the premise sounded really intriguing, and I've heard it's a good thriller. I really like Dark Matter. I don't know, I'm trying to get more into reading more thrillers, so this one sounded really intriguing. The rest of this pile I'm going to show you is books that I purchased for grade 10 specifically, and grade 10 is going to be covering world history from ancients through around Renaissance-ish. I don't know how far into the Renaissance we're going to get. But I'll just show you what I have here. So, the first issue I was having with grade 10 was finding a spine. Oh my goodness, it is so hard. Everything I found, I'm like, it's just not quite what I was looking for, or it's been an ordeal. But I came across something a little bit different, and I'm like 80% on board with using this as the spine, and 20% like, really? But I don't know, the more I look at it, the more I read them, the more I'm like, these are exactly what I was looking for, sort of. And that is the Cartoon History of the Universe series by Larry Gonick. Not exactly the first thing you would think of, but these are actually really, really well done. I've read the first one. I've read this one already, and I'm about a quarter of the way through the second one, and they cover so much information in a really fun way, and I mean, I wouldn't use these as the sole resource, obviously. I'm going to be filling in a lot of things, but on the whole, these are really good resources, and I like that it's different. I don't know, I like weird, different things, and I feel like my kids are going to really respond to these, especially my boys who are just kind of not really into the whole academic thing. I think they're going to love these because they like graphic novels, and they're really funny, but you're learning a lot while you're giggling, and they're just really interesting. And so I have the first one that covers Big Bang to Alexander the Great. The second one covers the springtime of China to the fall of Rome. And I have the third one that is from the rise of Arabia to the Renaissance. So I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but I'm really excited about these. They're really interesting. I also picked up, to kind of fill things out a bit, 2 primary source kind of books. One is Eyewitness to History by John Carey, and this is exactly what it sounds like. These are eyewitness accounts that were written down or documented in some way. So it's really interesting. It goes all the way through time. So it starts with the plague. It starts with the plague in Athens in 430 BC. And it goes all the way through, and it goes all the way to the last entry, which is the fall of President Marcos, Manila, Philippines, 24th and 25th of February, 1986. So it's not exactly a current resource, but I mean, for what it is, it's really interesting, and there's a lot of just different kinds of entries, ranging from wars to plagues to all sorts of things, coronations. So I think this might be a nice resource to have. I also picked up World History and Documents, a Comparative Reader by Peter and Stearns, and this I really like because it gives you 2 or more documents to examine, and it gives you questions to help you to kind of compare them and think them through, like political ideals in China and Greece, and it gives you a document on Confucianism, the Chinese political values, to compare with Athenian democracy, Pericles' funeral oration. So I really like the way it's set up. It's really well done. So this is definitely going to be a part of grade 10. And then I picked up Enchantress from the Stars by Sylvia Engdahl. And I've never read this, but I've heard it mentioned many times, and I'm trying to kind of round out the literature portion because I had a lot of historical fiction and I kind of wanted to add some other genres. So this is a maybe. I'm going to read it and see what I think. And basically I think this is like a sci-fi fantasy-ish kind of story about an interstellar civilization. So it sounded really interesting. And I believe this was also a Newbery Award Medal winner. Then I also picked up Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I've heard really good things about this book, and I wanted something to go with ancient Greece because I realized I didn't have anything. I had this big hole, and so I found this book that is about the kind of the friendship and love between Achilles and Patroclus, which I've always kind of found interesting. So I thought this would be a really good book to add. I haven't read it yet, obviously, but yeah. So that is my book haul for January. It's a lot of books. I bought 14 books over the month. That's actually pretty average for me, I think. Yeah. So what did you buy in the month of January? Did you get any books? I keep saying I'm going to do the whole read your own books thing and I'm not going to buy any more books, and then this happens. So I kind of just should shut up and just do what I do. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Happy reading. Bye!